I want to be honest about this story because it is, more than most of the things I could tell you about my working life, one that required me to be deliberate and patient in a way that does not come entirely naturally to me. Sandra was my team leader for 2 years and 3 months. She was professionally mediocre. She managed up with skill. She was excellent with senior people, articulate in meetings where the right people were watching, good at framing everything as her initiative and her oversight. She managed down with considerably less skill. She was dismissive of detail, reluctant to engage with complexity, and had developed a method I came to understand over time as her primary working strategy. She identified the strongest technical person in the team, let them do the work, and then presented it. I was the strongest technical person in the team. My work appeared in her presentations. My analysis was in her project updates. My recommendations, framed in her language, attributed to her judgment, went to the senior leadership team and were praised, which meant Sandra was praised, which meant Sandra's career was flourishing on the back of 2 years of my effort. I knew this was happening. I had made the mistake, in the first year, of assuming she would acknowledge it. When she didn't, I made the mistake, in the second year, of deciding to live with it, because the project was interesting and the salary was reasonable and confrontation felt risky. By the end of the second year, the project had delivered and Sandra had been recommended for a director role. That was when I decided I had been patient long enough. I did not confront Sandra. I want to be clear about that, because it might seem like the obvious move, and it wasn't. Confronting her would have been her word against mine, and she was better at that particular game than I was. What I did instead was build a record. I had been sloppy about this in years 1 and 2. I had let my analysis go into her decks without watermarking it, without retaining version histories, without building the kind of paper trail that proves authorship in a dispute. I started being less sloppy. From January onwards, I retained every draft, every version, every communication. I documented my contributions to each piece of work in a file I kept outside the company systems. I started sending summary emails after significant pieces of work, not to Sandra, but to the wider project group, framing my contributions in my own name before she could reframe them in hers. Casual, professional, just keeping everyone in the loop. I also, very quietly, started having conversations with senior stakeholders. Not about Sandra. I said nothing negative about Sandra to anyone, but about the work, my perspective on it, my recommendations, my analysis. I built relationships with people who hadn't previously known my name. When Sandra's director role was confirmed and the team leader vacancy was posted, I applied. The interview process was 4 stages. I prepared for it with more rigour than I had prepared for anything in my professional life. I had a portfolio, I had documented outcomes, I had senior stakeholders who knew my name and my work, and who, when asked for informal input, spoke well of me. I got the job. The conversation where I told Sandra happened at her leaving drinks. She was moving to the director role, I was moving to hers. She was gracious on the surface, in the way people are gracious when they have no other good option. She said she was pleased I'd applied and that she thought I'd do well. I thanked her. Then I said very quietly that I'd learnt a lot from watching how she presented complex work to senior stakeholders, and that I was looking forward to having the opportunity to do that with my own name on it. She understood exactly what I meant. She smiled. I smiled. And then we both went back to the party. I have been in the team leader role for 18 months. My work is my own. My name is on it. I am recommended for director at the next review cycle. Has someone ever built their career on your work? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more complete stories with no part 2s that never come, follow the page, new story every day, every.